And then I started recording. Okay.
Awesome. I guess let's sit tight for maybe just like 30 seconds as everyone joins. To everyone logging in, thanks for joining us. Yeah, we'll just pause for a second.
Okay. Just sip my tea.
Awesome. We got a lot of people joining. Thanks for taking time here today.
Yeah, super exciting.
Awesome. Well, I'll go ahead and kind of just get started with some housekeeping. So our session today is going to be 30 minutes. So for people on the East Coast, we'll be done by 1 p.m. on the West Coast. So no worries. We've got it planned for just 30 minutes here. I don't think we're going to have time for Q&A at the end. But if you do have a burning question during the session, feel free to use the Zoom Q&A window and shoot it over. And if we don't get to it, we can follow up with you later after the session. In terms of just general questions about berry melts, products, anything like that, you can email me at any time. It's Austin, AUSTIN, @berrymelts.com. And for everyone just joining, welcome. Thanks for coming. One other thing I want to mention before we get started is at the very end, we have some exciting news about new developments here at Berry Melts, new formulas. And so if you would, please stick around for the last 5 minutes when we go over that. It's a game changer for us, and we're really excited to share this news with you. My name is Austin. As I said, I work on the Berry Melts marketing team, and my focus is largely practitioners and medical offices. So for any of the registered dietitians on today, there's a good chance we've talked over the years. So nice to be with you today. And with us is Whitney Gibson, bariatric dietitian. And I'll just give very quick background on Whitney. And then, Whitney, as you get started, feel free to fill in any gaps. Whitney began at a surgery center in Florida. And over the years, working with patients, recognized this need for long-term support. So, as the touch points with a center start to wind down, as a patient progresses further out from surgery, there's this gap of, they need support, but again, the touch points aren't quite there. And so with that in mind, Whitney started her own company. It's called Level Up Bariatrics. And they take a comprehensive approach with support groups, one-on-one coaching, master classes, everything. And in addition, Whitney also hosts a podcast called Level Up Bariatrics. So thank you very much for joining us today, Whitney. And what our session is going to focus on today is muscle and strength training after surgery. And so, we in the bariatric community, there's so much talk about lose weight, which, rightfully so, but sometimes we overlook the fact that maintaining and building muscle after surgery is also extremely important for patients. And so that is what we're here to talk about today. So with that, again, thank everyone for joining. Really appreciate it. And Whitney, why don't you take it over from here, please?
All right. Hey guys, I am so happy to be here today. And I particularly love the topic that we're talking about because I've gotten to the point where this is probably the first thing that I focus on with all of my clients. Muscle and macros, and the importance of conveying the fact that working on muscle after surgery and really getting the nutrition right and support right to have all of this come together is so vital in long-term success after surgery. So there, like you said, there's so much talk about the scale weight, the speed of weight loss, just how to get there quickly. But what we forget is what's going on behind the scenes and inside the body, and the things that we may or may not be telling our patients could be hurting them in the long run. So I think this is a very important topic, and I hope that practitioners can take this today and start to implement this and apply it into their own practice and day-to-day recommendations in the counseling setting. So to further introduce myself, yes, my name is Whitney. I absolutely adore the weight loss surgery community. Level Up Bariatrics was born out of the necessity of what weight loss surgery patients need in this community. Working in the clinical setting, I quickly discovered how much support our weight loss surgery patients were not getting long term. I'd be meeting with people 2 years after surgery, 5 years after surgery. I'd assess their knowledge, and it was almost zilch. And so I would basically start at the beginning with them. So that's how I've created my program is, get them as early as possible. If that's before surgery, I'm going to put you in a training program that's going to prepare you on how to learn all of this stuff and what's going to benefit you the most in the long run. But other than that, like, I mean, just really putting a focus on the exercise portion, which we all know, all you dietitians out there, if you're experienced in training or weight training or exercise in general, we know exercise is probably the hardest thing to get people to do consistently. So that's why this is such an important topic. But without further ado, I'm going to share my screen just to kind of give an introduction of what we're going over today. Back to the beginning. So why building muscle matters after weight loss surgery. The first thing that I want to cover here would be, hold on, my X is in the way. What weight loss surgery patients need to know. So as practitioners, I'm hoping that we can kind of take this message and put it into your practice, or at least put this as a focus from this point forward into the counseling setting. So we're going to learn today about the effect of weight loss surgery on muscles. So particularly muscle wasting, especially during that time of rapid weight loss, which we know to be, during that first 6 months to a year after surgery. So there is a lot of muscle wasting, and a lot of the weight that they're losing is water weight and muscle. What we're trying to do is prevent that from happening, slow down the process of muscle wasting, because muscle is the most beneficial tissue in us after surgery that can support you long term. We want to maintain that muscle and continue to build that muscle, and we will learn why. The effect of weight loss surgery on bone health, and I really don't hear anybody talking about this, but we do know studies have proven calcium absorption has greatly decreased after surgery for many different reasons. But this includes bone deterioration, or this results in bone deterioration, osteopenia, osteoporosis, and risk of fracture. It's not a pretty thing or an exciting thing to talk about, but we do need to put an emphasis on this. And this is an importance of working the muscle, because this muscle, next line, the importance of using muscle to support, number one, the preservation and gaining of lean mass, which is what we want, and also the protection of aging bones and declining bone health. So yeah, not fun to talk about, but it's a truth. We need to really prepare our patients for this. They want to know they want to be in the present moment. They want now, weight loss, but what's going to happen in the future? We also need to be talking about that and taking care of our patients in that aspect. Furthermore, we're going to be discussing nutrition, the adequacy of protein, and plus more of the minimum suggested amount, and focusing on balanced meals. We'll talk about exercise recommendations, how much, where to start, where to do it to support them long term. We'll talk about how to track progress and stay motivated. This includes accountability, tracking measurements, and what type of support we can be offering. And then lastly, multivitamins and their role. So you have a question about nutrition?
Yeah, sorry, I was muted. So part of, what we want to do today is arm our audience, the practitioners, with ways to better talk to patients about muscle, how to strength train, topics like that. And so I guess, can we start, Whitney, by discussing nutrition and kind of how to talk to patients about nutrition as it relates to muscle?
Absolutely. So first and foremost, I think whenever it comes to nutrition, practitioners, clinical settings, we have to go very, very fast. Okay. It's like the quickest amount of information we can give them as possible to help them. That's what they're given. But we really do have to make an effort to go above and beyond, especially with the fundamentals of nutrition education. What they're understanding, or what a lot of people are taking away from their current setting, is just protein, protein, protein. They're not taught about carbs. They have no clue what to do about fats. So learning or teaching them the balance of creating a balanced plate, including healthy carbohydrates, including healthy fats, in addition to protein, which we know protein's the highest priority. But, we also have to teach how to eat realistically for the rest of their life. This isn't just about protein. They're not going to live on protein for the rest of their lives. So it's important to incorporate your other macronutrients to support muscle growth. So what we're talking about next, my clicker is not working. Okay. The effect of, oh, hold on. Okay. So first and foremost, we want to encourage the balance of proteins, carbohydrates, and healthy fats because they all play a role in muscle function, the building of muscle, repairing of muscle, etc. Number one, proteins are the building blocks of muscle. We all know that. Protein's high priority after weight loss surgery for many different reasons. It's suggested they get a minimum of 60 grams per day. What I find is a lot of people get stuck with that 60 grams. Like, sometimes they fall off the map with their surgery center or dietitians, and they're stuck at that 60 grams for years. And when they could be really increasing their intake, especially in coordination with their exercise and really optimizing their weight loss and muscle gain or preservation of muscle, even. Patients, we should be telling them to strive for whole food sources. So whole food versus supplements, we know that whole food is going to burn more calories and support the metabolism even better than supplements. Supplements are going to break down fast, digest quickly, and our whole food sources are going to be the most bioavailable and best absorbed as well. So we want to opt for complete sources of protein also. I do educate my clients on what's complete versus incomplete. I'm not going to go into that today, but I do like for them to know the difference. The use of protein supplements only when necessary. I've got people who have, lower protein goals. Then I have some people who are gym rats and they're lifting a lot of weight and they need more protein. Maybe they're males and they're younger. Maybe they're opting for 150 grams of protein a day. Obviously there's going to be a necessity for protein supplements there. So I like to say treat supplements as what they are. They're supplements. They're there to supplement what you can't get through your regular diet. And I get it. There's a time and a place for everything when supplements are appropriate. But it's not going to be all the time because we really want to optimize on whole food sources, especially for variety. When we're suggesting protein supplements, opting for clean ingredients. I'm a clean eating girl. I try to get, I meet my patients where they are, but in the end, they're going to be eating more clean than they ever have before. So I teach them to read ingredients, what not to have, all those artificial things. And, the cleaner, the better. And then lastly, we have whey, lactose intolerances. We know that these are common sensitivities or common issues, I should say, after surgery. In that case, I opt for plant-based or vegan protein options. And then encouraging a variety of both animal-based and plant-based proteins. So what we're seeing is, there's digestion issues, there's an imbalance of gut flora, there are you name it. And it's because, well, I shouldn't say it's solely because, but it's a lot because there's no variety in our patients' diets. They're so taught to eat protein, protein, protein. The only thing in their mind is animal-based products. They think, carbohydrates are terrible, so they're trying to avoid carbohydrates. But what we're missing is those complex carbohydrates providing fiber, providing prebiotics, probiotics, things that are balancing the gut flora that protect your immunity, your metabolism, just you as a whole. So if we start to incorporate more plant-based proteins into the diet in coordination with animal, you get much more variety. You're going to get more satiety. So when we're talking about animal-based products, I'm talking high quality lean meats, not the cheap crap that you can just find anywhere. We want high quality poultry, fish, other seafood. We want to promote healthy cooking methods. So we know the weight loss surgery community can be very busy. They're not experienced with cooking. Now, I'm not putting this label on just that community. This is any human being, okay? But we do want to help them by offering convenient cooking methods like air fryers, slow cookers, crock pots, whatever. Then we have animal byproducts. You all know what those are for the most part. Anything like yogurt, cheeses, milks. With this category, when we want to promote the low fat versions, or if they prefer the fat versions, which I do, I would never eat low fat because I hate the texture. So to each their own, So if they are wanting more whole milk sources just for the creamy and the mouthfeel and that type of characteristic, then just get them to limit that type of stuff, maybe incorporate more plant-based fats in that situation. And then lastly, plant-based proteins. So these are the ones that our population is pretty scared of because they include carbs. But if we're doing the right amount of education, it should be okay to incorporate carbs into their life. Your plant-based proteins are going to offer more complex carbohydrates and offer healthy fats in most of these choices. So you see our choices here, that first bullet point is going to be your complete sources of plant-based protein. So they have all 9 essential amino acids on their own without having to have an animal-based product. So you see edamame, tofu, soy nuts, quinoa, tempeh, those are all complete. And then we have more incomplete, which in combination could make complete. Again, I'm not going to go over that, but beans, lentils, nuts, seeds, all really satisfying sources of protein. They all have carbohydrates or a minimal amount and healthy fats.
What about Whitney? There seems, like we get questions about carbs, and there seems to be kind of a stigma around carbs, that carbs are bad. Talk to us a little bit more about that, especially as it relates to bariatric patients.
Yeah, for sure. I'll start by just saying, with my experience and meeting with many of my patients or clients, the feedback that I'm getting from some of these centers, and I'm not trying to place blame. I'm just merely sharing what I hear. I've had patients say, my surgeon told me to eat keto after surgery, or they told me to keep my carbs below 25 grams after surgery. And I'm like, forever? Like, so I don't know if people are misconstruing the information or if that's really what people are telling them, but I'm going to chalk that up to we don't have enough people educating our clients or these patients on truly what they're capable of doing with their diet. And you can invite carbohydrates into your diet. You can invite healthy fats into your diet. You just need some education on how, when, why, whatever, and what. So let me share my screen and I'll tell you a little bit more about the carb role. Okay. So in our practice, I encourage carbohydrates because number one, anybody in my program, you're going to be exercising. You're following the program, you're exercising, you are going to need carbs. Look at that first line. Carbohydrates are your body's preferred source of energy. Look at all these areas that carbs feed off of. Brain, your muscles, your kidneys, your central nervous system, and your heart muscles. Imagine restricting all of that and how you suffer. I don't know if anybody's ever practiced a low carb diet or a ketogenic diet. I have, and I've experienced side effects in all of these categories. So if you're not doing things correctly, which, if you're following a very low carb diet or you are following ketogenic, there are other things you have to be paying attention to. It's a very low compliance diet. So is low carb, and you will see why in the next line. So when we're restricting carbohydrates specifically, we're getting these effects in clients or in our patients. We're getting food noise. And if you've never heard of food noise, I'm talking about the constant chatter in your head about food. Am I bored? I'm eating. I'm hungry. I'm tired. I still want to eat. I'm craving this. Like, it's like, how many calories did I just have? Oh, I feel guilty about that. Should I have this? Should I have done this? It's constant noise in your head about food because you're restricting things and you're left with cravings, low energy, digestion issues, mainly constipation, and poor relationship with food in general, which, look at that, leads to non-compliance with your diet. So this is when I see patients tend to go into slider foods. They go into old habits because they are not truly feeding what their body needs. So it's proven if you're not giving your body what it needs, you're going to have those cravings. It's going to know what's missing and it's going to be represented in some other way. So what can we do about this? As practitioners, we can provide education about carbs. This is what I have found the best things to do for our patients is number one, provide examples of whole food sources, high fiber sources, complex carbs, the ones that are not going to, like if they have diabetes, then we need to provide really more so of a list that are complex carbs, high fiber to control those blood sugar levels. But they also need to know when and how to incorporate them. This kind of goes with the next line, reasons why to include them in coordination with exercise. So with exercise, we all know, you're going to deplete the glycogen in your muscle. You're going to need to replete it if you want energy for later, or if you to stabilize your blood sugar levels after you've burned all that glucose. So there's reasons why to include them. You also want to fuel for that workout to actually work your muscles. I've been in that situation where I've not properly fueled my body and I've not properly recovered my body, and it's miserable. And if we're talking about gaining results with muscle, the results aren't going to be there if you're not compliant with fueling your body and recovering your body, because it's just not going to feel good and you won't see the results. So lastly, templates, guides, lists, photos are extremely helpful. So I have little templates and worksheets. Pick from this, pick from this. That's your complete meal. You pre-workouts, pick from this, pick from this. Post-workouts, pick from this, pick from this. I make it nice and simple, but at the same time, we're educating them. What is a carb? What is a protein? Do I include a healthy fat? Like when to do ones that are low in starch, when to do ones that are higher in starch. It sounds difficult from the get-go, but again, if we visually teach them this stuff in worksheets, templates, lists, pictures, it is so helpful. You have to almost say, you're teaching at an elementary level, and that's how I approach it, and that's the most appreciated, to be honest. I think that was okay. Oh, so I just have examples of complex carbohydrates here. So this includes high fiber fruits, high fiber veggies. So look at the veggies. I've got everything from starchy to non-starchy, and I want them to have a variety. You know, I see a lot of lists of just non-starchy vegetables, and I'm like, there's a time and a place to add starchy. Like we want them to be able to fuel a workout or recover, and those starchy ones are going to be higher in sugar and they will be more quickly absorbed. So that's why we want more starchy at some times. But you know, if the level of activity is pretty low, stick with non-starchy for a while. But we also have beans, lentils, high fiber grains. And next will be fat.
Whitney, if we can move to fat, and then also I want to make sure we save some time to kind of offer suggestions to talk to patients about strength training and, how to go about that. Because I think a lot of times patients are like, I hate exercise, so how in the world am I going to like strength training? So I want to make sure that we, have a couple pointers for everyone as well around that.
Sure. So not to leave fat out. So we do want to use fat to our advantage too. There's hormones within fat, dietary fat. They're going to help build muscle and support muscle growth. So we don't want to eliminate that part either. I wanted to show just a balanced plate here. My screen's moving extremely slow. Sorry, guys. So healthy fats. So healthy fats, just as a review, in case you're not a practitioner: avocado, fatty fish, nuts, nut butters, seed butters, plant-based oils. They help with satiety, sustain your energy to get through longer, higher intensity workouts. So when we're building plates, when we're teaching our clients to build plates, we want to show them visually what is a protein, what is a fat, or what foods could be counted as these categories, just to create balance. So this is going to support muscle growth. So the best exercises for building muscle post weight loss surgery, we've got resistance training, we've got compound exercises. What do I mean by that? Resistance training is going to be anything that is resisting gravity. So we can do just body weight exercises, which is super simple at home or even in the gym. Weightlifting, which includes machines and free weights, and resistance bands. I'm a fan favorite. You can use resistance bands doing absolutely anything: sitting in a chair, standing, lying down, you name it. You can do a full body with just resistance bands. And then incorporating compound exercises. So encourage them to get more for their time. Okay. We all know nobody wants to spend a whole lot of time in the gym working multiple muscle groups at once. You can get the most out of your time and maximize muscle building potential. This is the kind of stuff they can learn in the gym by working with a trainer. I suggest, if you've never been in a gym, if you've never learned squat about exercises, get into a gym, work with a trainer a couple of times so they can teach you basic form and correct form so that you're not going to injure yourself. But most of these patients, I mean, as we can imagine, have very little experience with exercise just due to their weight, their entire life. They're self-conscious, they've got poor education, maybe they don't have transportation, but we do need to identify barriers to their exercise. That's a great way in the counseling setting to promote them to exercise, identifying the barriers, how to get past those. But encouraging small but regimented exercises is a great way to start. So if you have them commit to 30 minutes of walking per day, that's not strength training, but what they've done is started with something easy. They've carved out that 30-minute time. If that becomes a habit, they can put whatever the heck they want to in that 30 minutes. They can put a strength training routine at home in front of a TV kind of routine, go to the gym for 30 minutes, doesn't matter. So creating the habit and consistency first is key, but before that is planning. So in our program, for instance, we work on planning, planning, planning. We have planners. We teach them how to create a nighttime routine, a morning routine, a daytime routine, and everything is planned until they get to the point where it's a part of their life. I'm going to skip the environments thing, but have them utilize YouTube, Amazon Prime, and apps. Like that is tremendous support for everybody.
Why don't, as we close here, can we jump to sort of how vitamins and minerals, as it relates to nutritional deficiencies, how that all relates to strength training for patients?
Absolutely. So your multivitamins, you have to remember that as a bariatric patient, you're not getting what you need just through food alone, and um, it's almost I don't know. Well, I lost my thought actually as I was saying it. But bariatric multivitamins, they are formulated to fill these nutritional gaps that you're not getting with food. So it's a necessity to have bariatric multivitamins. I've gone to centers where like, take 2 Flintstones. And I'm like, no, stop doing that. That's really old advice. It's antiquated advice. We want you to be fully covered with everything that you need so that you can sustain the right levels of everything that you need. You're getting regular lab work so that you're ensuring that you're getting that covered. But bariatric multivitamins, they ensure delivery of essential vitamins and minerals to become stronger. So, this is acting as a supplement too. You're truly getting what you're not getting through your diet. They play a crucial role in the repairing and rebuilding of muscle tissue. So that's another reason to include a bariatric multivitamin in your regimen.
So just from the Berry Melts end, we've been hard at work and completely reformulated both our multivitamin and our multivitamin with iron. And so patients can buy that now on our website, Amazon. And so it, has the same delivery mechanism, same great taste that patients love, but it is aligned to the ASMBS guidelines, and we've incorporated all of the feedback from dietitians over the past couple years. And so, when you get off this webinar, please go to our website. You can check out the new SFPs and see how that relates to the ASMBS guidelines. And we're very pleased to announce this new formulation of both products.
Yeah, and one particular item that you have included more of there is thiamine, and thiamine is important in converting food into energy, keeping metabolism optimal. Also, when we're talking about including exercise and muscle building into the routine, these vitamins or thiamine actually ensures that your nerve cells and muscles are getting the energy they need to thrive. So if you're short on that, you're going to feel muscle contraction, cramping. It just doesn't feel right. So it does aid in the proper functioning of the heart as well. So all of these things are essential as you adopt a more active lifestyle. Additionally, I know we were talking about iron at one point, but your new formulation is with carbonyl iron versus ferrous iron. Ferrous iron can be pretty tough on the stomach. So carbonyl iron is easy on the stomach. It minimizes discomfort, which is so important. Weight loss surgery patients, first and foremost, have the worst issues with digestive system, like constipation, namely, but also so with the fact that this is carbonyl iron, it minimizes the effect of any nausea, abdominal discomfort, digestion issues. And I told you, Austin, like, working in the clinical setting and handing out samples to our patients, this was the #1 option for minimizing nausea and constipation. Like I even took them and I think they taste amazing. But that was the #1 chosen one. So I can say as a practitioner, like we really believe in this product. So
Awesome. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Whitney. My bad.
they taste great. I just wanted to add a few more things. There's no water necessary with these, so they dissolve right on the tongue. This is super important for those patients who are not able to, take much water in the beginning. Sometimes it causes nausea immediately, or you just feel too full. And bariatric multivitamins are likely not the only thing you're taking either. So you don't want to just constantly be filling up on pills and vitamins and water, water, water. So the fact that it dissolves right on the tongue, it's just a wonderful addition. I don't think I need to go through the main takeaways.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for walking through this, Whitney. Everyone, thank you for taking 30 minutes out of your day here. And we hope that as a takeaway from this, you have perhaps a new perspective on muscle after weight loss surgery, or some talking points that you can stress with patients, because this is extremely important. And I think it does tend to go overlooked. And so if anything, we hope that this served as a reminder of, the importance for patients of maintaining their muscle and also continuing to build it after surgery. So, one last thought just around support. I mean, everybody on the call, practitioners, we know you're incredibly busy and only get limited touch points with patients. And so both, Whitney's group and Barry Meltz, we're on a mission to provide additional support outside of the clinic. And so, twice a week at Barry Meltz, we put out educational newsletters written by practitioners, some written by veteran patients. And so if your patients need, that extra motivation or education, please send them over, have them subscribe. And, Whitney as well, if patients need touch points with a practitioner outside of the clinic, leveluphub.com, Level Up Bariatrics is her Instagram. And so, would love for you to get your patients in touch with her as well. So thanks for the time. I know we're at the top of the hour here. And if you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to reach out. Again, my email is austin@barrymeltz.com. So if you need samples or anything like that, and we're going to start trying to do this quarterly. So we'd love to see you on the next session. Have a
Oh, can I
great.
mention one thing, Austin? I
Yeah,
forgot.
go.
This
Sorry.
would be appropriate since we do have a lot of practitioners. If you feel like your patients do need a program, a post-op program where they can get more support, whether that's one-on-one or just community in general, I forgot to mention, which is huge, we offer a subscription service. So monthly they can pay a low fee, get workshops on how to do all this stuff that we're talking about. Workshops, master classes, recipe bundles, clean eating, support groups, and private community. And I also do monthly challenges. So they have so much stuff that they can keep them engaged, motivated, gain confidence, educated. So if that's something that your patients could use, we offer 1 month free trial to our membership. So keep that in mind.
And that would be at leveluphub.com, Whitney?
Yeah, if we just reach out at leveluphub.com, or if you reach out on Instagram, it's on our bio, in our bio. Or you can just message us.
Well, good stuff. I think I'm good. Are you good?
All good. Thank you so much. I loved this.
Have a great Thursday, guys. Thank you very much for joining us.
Bye-bye.